Thank you. Mr. Rinaldi, from all accounts, the NACA's workforce continues to help the FAA fulfill its mission of providing the safest and most efficient aerospace system in the world. Can you point to any safety lapses in the last year that you would associate with controller staffing levels?
No, sir. The controllers plug into their position day in and day out to maintain, first and foremost, the safety of the national airspace system. If they're working double positions combined up because staffing is short, then capacity will have to be appropriately reduced to make sure that they're not in a safety concern.
So the first option would be to reduce capacity as opposed to trying to keep capacity levels the same if there's an issue in the staffing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mr. Babbitt, as well, can apart from the service reductions associated with sequestration, can Southwest Airlines point to any other air traffic control related delays or service reductions?
We certainly have our suspicions. We rely somewhat on anecdotal data or information, I guess.
Be sure to go right in the microphone there. Yeah. Be sure right in the mic. Just there.
Yep. We do have our suspicions. We don't have clear insight into a lot of the granular pieces when an air traffic control facility begins to increase spacing, things like that, ground stops. We don't necessarily know what the issue is within that station. We do know of a couple, though. A good example in the Chicago Center, they have a metering station that has been somewhat short-staffed. The problem for us is they have adjacent sector vectoring so that aircraft coming out of Chicago Center going into the Minneapolis Center, they have a protocol. Well, if there's not staffing in either of those centers, it doesn't happen, and it's not happening. And what that leads to for us is increased vectoring, increased fuel burn, longer en route times. It's a delay. I mean, we pay the financial penalty. We burn 2 billion gallons of fuel a year, and it's expensive. And so anytime we can reduce that and use the enhanced procedures, we welcome it, and those are the kinds of restrictions. Midway Tower itself has the same issue. They sometimes cannot staff a ground metering system that they use for lack of personnel in the tower. So it leads to us for increased tarmac times. You just sit longer on the ramp, burning fuel, delaying passengers, not anything we look forward to.
Okay, thanks. Ms. Bristol, there's some criticism of the controller workforce plan staffing ranges as unreliable. Can you just enlighten me a little bit in when we talk about a shortage, from your perspective, what's the baseline we're supposed to use? And in fairness, I'm going to ask Mr. Rinaldi to comment on that same question as well. What's the baseline?
Right. Well, you know, right now we've got in the entire system 14,376 folks that are working their way through the process from the early levels through the top. We're striving right now to get everyone for our certified professional controllers in a range that's in the 80 to 85% rate, which we would feel is more healthy. And so we're focused on, in facilities that are above that, helping them, if they desire to go to a facility that's below that level, help them get there more quickly so that we can start getting everybody up to that range.
Yeah, Mr. Rinaldi, how should we assess this?
So I would just say that the most accurate assessment of each facility is your onboard staffing of your fully certified professional controllers. These are the individuals that can plug in and work any position. These are the individuals that will train the other people in the building that are learning to be air traffic controllers. These are the individuals that will fill in for supervisory functions and be controllers in charge. These are the individuals we take off the boards to actually help us modernize the system and develop real-time efficiencies in next-gen. That is the goal, is to actually measure that. What the controller workforce plan manages is just bodies in the building. And all too often they give you a number, and it's misleading at best, that they say, well, at Atlanta Tracon we have 95 people on board, but really you only have, and if our CPC number is 100 and you have 95 people on board, you would think, well, we're okay, we're only 5 under. But really you only have 68 people that can fully work all the positions, and those other people are in some form of training, which their success rate in Atlanta is less than 40%. So you're counting people that will never be successful in the building, and it's almost a charade that you're saying, well, we're fully staffed there, and the people will never certify there. So that the number is flawed. Is if you go strictly by certified professional controllers is the best way to see the healthiness of a building.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, could I just have ask sort of the same question, Mr. Hampton, or is
It's your birthday, whatever you
it's
want.
my birthday? Great. I've got another 15 minutes worth of questions. One for every birthday. Matt, could you talk a little bit? Have you looked at the right number?
We don't know exactly what the right number is, but let me get you a different perspective. When we visit this field, the facility manager, and he runs that place day to day, and he's responsible, and he runs multiple shifts. And Mr. Rinaldi's quite correct. The certified controller is a utility infielder. He trains controllers and can work all segments of the airspace. So that gives the facility manager tremendous flexibility. So I think it's important for the FAA to communicate to you guys, the Congress, a specific number, whether it's in the, particularly in the controller workforce plan. What's the right number at the right facility, particularly at the critical facilities? It doesn't really matter. We've looked at this for a number of years. So the CPC seems to be a very important number. That's kind of our take on it. It matters to the facility manager, the guy that runs the facility, particularly at Chicago, Atlanta, the most critical facilities.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Rinaldi, the roundtable